You gotta get into the groove.
Hey everyone, welcome to another session of this weekly insights, and it's good to have you here. My name is Peter Moingo, and I am coming at you live from New Zealand. So if you're joining me live, please put a hashtag live into the comments, and if you're joining me in replay, just put a hashtag replay. So one of the things is that that I normally go through in these sessions is actually e-commerce in general. So more about rather than just one particular platform, we go through different sort of trends, different aspects of e-commerce, various ways that you can actually sell items online or sell product online. So there's a whole range of different things when it comes to e-commerce. All right, let me just actually see who we've got in the in here joining us at the moment. Okay, so we have actually made the time a little bit later, and if you haven't seen the notification about it as yet, then it's probably the reason why you may have missed the beginning of the session. But if you see it while I'm doing this this live, great, join us because this is going to be quite interesting when it comes to what I've got to talk about today. As I said, I'm coming in from New Zealand live, and if you're joining me, just give us a let us know where you're coming in from as well. All right. So, like I said, this is about e-commerce and mainly about some of the latest trends when it comes to e-commerce. With the advent of AI and what it can do, there's a whole lot of range of different things that are happening now when it comes to AI, when it comes to e-commerce and AI. And of course, in a lot of respects, AI has made our job easy when it comes to e-commerce, or just when it comes to sort of web development, e-commerce stores, all that sort of thing in general. However, it's also actually leveled the playing field. So even the most experienced e-commerce sellers, if you like, are literally competing with some of the ones that are actually just starting to come into e-commerce. So if you've been in e-commerce for a long time, like I have, then AI has certainly leveled the playing ground where for everybody really to actually to give them the ability to make money online when it comes in e-commerce. I'm going to show you a quick video with regards to some of the things that are actually happening in the whole sort of scheme of e-commerce. But before I do that, take the opportunity to put in the chat, whether it be live, whether you're joining me live or whether you're joining me in replay. Just take the opportunity to put it in the chat. I will check it later, and just let us know if you're actually doing e-commerce at the moment. And if you've got an e-commerce store, and if you have, just let us know. I don't think we can put actually links into YouTube, but you should be able to just put the name of your store in there. And just let us know what you're up to when it comes to e-commerce. If you haven't started an e-commerce journey, or you're looking at wanting to, then this will probably give you a bit of an insight as to what's out there at the moment. And maybe you could look at different things that you could utilize when it comes to AI with e-commerce. Now, I use AI a lot when, particularly if I'm looking for products. I find it like a ChatGPT. I find it a lot more. I find it a lot more specific when I'm actually doing a search for, say, for instance, for argument's sakes, like pet products or household products or car accessories. I can ask ChatGPT to give me sites that are actually selling those stuff, or if they're and also drop shippers as well. In the past, you used to really have a directory that you brought into that gave you more or less the information about all the global wholesalers, manufacturers, and drop shippers around the world. And that's how you sort of got your information. But these days now, you can use ChatGPT to actually find out a lot of that information. However, there are still some information that, in those directories that you probably won't be able to get by just using ChatGPT. It'll probably take you to the site, but you would still have to log in and find out that information. So just to give you some idea, when it comes to e-commerce, here's Dr. Lisa. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Lisa, all the way from Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Glad to have you here. And she is joining us live. I was going to say, in terms of e-commerce, there's a lot of things to actually take into consideration when you're actually looking for suppliers and all that. And one of the things is that you want to make sure that you get reputable suppliers or drop shippers. You want to make sure that they're consistent, reliable, and you'd be able to sort of trust in them to deliver on time and the quality and all that sort of thing. It's a big thing when it comes to e-commerce, especially when you're when you're selling stuff off your own store. The other thing is that you've just don't limit yourself to one supplier, right? A lot of people kind of especially with print on demand, they'll just use one supplier or one print on demand supplier or drop shipper, and then they don't use anyone else. But the thing that happens there is that if you put all your eggs in one basket, there could be a day that they actually they actually let you down, and then you've got no backup plan. So always have a few different suppliers that you can actually you can rely on, because that will actually can make sure that your shop will continue to supply products, if you like. Because within print on demand, if say for instance it's run out of stock from one place, you can probably get it from another print on demand type sort of a company. We have Groove Asia joining us, which is Karen Allen. So welcome, Karen. And so that sort of thing is really important when it comes to e-commerce. Now let's just get back to the whole AI and some of the trends that are going to be happening within sort of the next 12 months to and beyond. And AI will play a huge part in that. Now, I've got a short video. Well, actually, it's not a short video, but we're going to stop in different places on the video. Just going to go through it, and it's going to sort of tell you what some of the trends that are coming up. I found it quite interesting. And I don't know, has there anybody heard of augmented reality? If you have, put it in the chat that you have. If you haven't, just put no. But augmented reality is one of the big things set to sort of become a new trend within e-commerce. And okay, so Karen, yep, she's heard of it. And yes, Dr. Lisa. Now, I don't know if any of you are actually trying it yourself or you actually implemented it yourself, but augmented reality was really, instead of, I guess, looking at a product online in a store in kind of like a 2D sort of view, then you can, with the augmented reality, you can get a kind of like a 3D view of the product. So you can spin it around, have a look at it and see what it looks like at the back and the side and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So over the top. So it's kind of really kind of like that. Really, it gives you sort of a complete view of the whole product underneath, on the back, on the sides, in the front, up the top. So all that sort of thing. Pokemon craze, Karen Nickens. So yeah, actually, Pokemon is probably a good example because, and that was quite a big, big trend back in those days with Pokemon. And so augmented reality is one of those trends. Also, too, as well, payment structure. Now, at the moment, we use credit cards. There are some platforms that actually use like payment structures in terms of like weekly payments or fortnightly payments and all that sort of thing. And more often than not, you have to make sure that you stick within the sort of like payment arrangements to avoid like penalty fees or even getting sort of like a strike against your account because your performance when it comes to paying is not all that great. Then they'll obviously they can actually have an effect on buying more stuff through their platform. So there's a lot of things. So at the moment, I think payment structure is or structured payment, if you like, is a huge thing, or it's going to be a huge thing, especially for the younger ones. A lot of the younger ones actually like to actually just sort of pay maybe on a weekly, fortnightly basis. There was even talk maybe about a year or so ago about PayPal taking on Bitcoin. I know there were platforms using cryptocurrency at some point, but I think that's kind of died down a wee bit now, and so there's not much emphasis on that. So there's all these different trends. But let me show you the video. Let's get on to that, and like I said, as we go through it, I'm just going to kind of stop at places and maybe just cover some of those points. So okay. Municipality. Okay, I'm just actually trying to figure out which it is. Just give me a sec, guys. Okay. I think this is the one. This looks like the one. Hopefully. No, it's not the one. Okay. Stop sharing. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to, here we go. This is the one. This is the one I wanted to show you. Okay. Let me put myself in there, make this bigger. All right, now I want to make sure that you guys can hear this. So hang on, I better make sure that this is actually, I've got the audio set on this. Okay, yep, audio is set on it. There we go. And then share. So if you can just put a 1 in the chat, so let me know if you can see that. Oh, hang on. If you can see that, that'll be great. Just put a 1 in the chat. And as I play it, if you can't hear it, please just let me know. But let me start it now.
So today, we're getting right into the world of e-commerce and looking at the top 5 trends in e-commerce technology. With the growing craze of online shopping, so has the technology behind it. These are trends that shape the future of how goods are to be bought or sold online. This will place you, the business owner or tech enthusiast, a step ahead in moving through the digital market with ease. Now let's delve into the current trends. 1. Artificial intelligence and machine learning. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are changing the game in electronic commerce by making shopping experiences very personalized. These technologies essentially work on the customer data to realize their buying behavior, preference, and patterns. It gives the data-driven mechanism enabling e-commerce platforms to make personalized recommendations, targeted marketing, and dynamic pricing. For instance, AI recommendation engines will intuitively propose certain products based on browsing history and previous purchases. It enhances not only customer satisfaction, but also the likelihood of purchase. Chatbots and virtual assistants developed with integrated AI are put into service to answer customer queries, provide instant support, and even make purchases. These tools are getting progressively smarter by processing difficult questions and returning customized responses. AI and ML technologies also help a lot in inventory management.
Oh,
Artificial intelligence development will simply make this process much easier and more effective for both consumers and retailers throughout the whole.
So let's just pause it there for a moment. So just going back to the whole sort of like how AI is actually obviously learning more about our habits, our buying habits, our choices, the things that we're actually researching online, even coming down to some of the discussions that we have with platforms and their chatbots. It all takes in that information, and obviously, it helps. I guess it helps sellers to be able to put their product right in front of the right target audience, if you like, the people that are actually looking for your product. So, to put this into perspective, generally you do that with Google, right? With the whole SEO side of things, you would actually to really target the audience that you're after, the people who actually are looking for that particular product, you would integrate that into your SEO, in your store and all that sort of thing. So people actually looking for products that maybe, say for instance, cooking, a cooking, what do you call it, pots, or cooking pots or anything like that. They, that's going to be put into their sort of their SEO, their blogs, their comments, their content, whatever content, all that sort of thing. What this does, it's going to make probably a lot more easier for a lot of people. Which also, it's actually spreads the whole sort of ball game where a lot of people will be able to do this without having to, I guess, without having to sort of like, for lack of a better word, fail when it comes to e-commerce. So with the whole AI sort of side of things, it will actually help them generate sales, and that's how that will probably work, as opposed to and still used today the traditional way, which is what we do now at the moment. But as AI gets more and more sophisticated, it will actually, obviously take over in that sort of role. Okay, let's carry on.
Shopping process. As AI continues to evolve, we can expect even more advanced applications in e-commerce. 2. Augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR. Augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR, are changing the way customers experience products online. That these immersive technologies bridge the gap between online and offline shopping with this new, more physical, more interactive experience. For example, AR enables customers to actually see the products in their own space. It can be a virtual fitting room for clothes or visualizing how the furniture would look in a room. AR is useful for a realistic preview of how products are going to look and feel in real life. One of the most notable examples is IKEA's AR app, which lets customers see how furniture pieces would look in their homes before making a purchase. This reduces the uncertainty that often comes with online shopping and helps customers make more informed decisions. VR, on the other hand.
So just going back to that whole AR, and I think everybody in here would get this, right? So the whole augmented reality, which I mentioned before, is about seeing things in 3D, but they've taken it a lot more further than that. And obviously, being able to picture, say, that sofa or that dining table in your own, in your own home physical space, if you like, by simply just, having it view on a mobile device. So those sorts of things are becoming, they'll become a lot more popular as things evolve. And like at the moment, not all stores are like that. Obviously, we still do the traditional sort of a way, but as time goes by and AI becomes a lot more accessible and evolves, I mean, we're not even scratching the surface when it comes to AI, but the more that it evolves, it's going to obviously have a lot more, be able to actually provide a lot more options and a lot more, I guess, to actually inspire the imagination of the viewer, the buyer, if you like. And so it will be something that's probably not too far away, obviously, on a more common basis. At the moment, it's not quite common. But you can see where this is all heading, right? And particularly when it comes to clothes as well, if you've got you as the the image in the screen, and you want to try certain clothes on, but obviously you can't be there physically, but you can, you'll be able to sort of have your image on the device and wearing all these different clothes. And I think you guys have probably seen that before too as well. So let me carry on, and we'll go on to the virtual reality.
And offers virtual store tours where customers can explore a virtual shopping environment, browse products, and make purchases just like in a physical store. These technologies not only enhance the customer experience, but also reduce the likelihood of returns, as customers have a better understanding of what they're buying. As AR and VR become more accessible and affordable, more e-commerce platforms are expected to integrate these features into their websites and apps.
So with the virtual reality, as you can see, with this taking it that one step further and actually sort of placing you in the store, where you can actually select the products, take a look at it, all that sort of thing. So that's another addition to the AR and having the VR there as well. So I mean, you can imagine the future when it comes to e-commerce, and if you think it's like, could be a bit more challenging for some people at the moment, because we still do like the traditional method of e-commerce. I think with the with the AR and the VR coming into effect, I think a lot of people are going to find it a lot more easier. But then it'll be a lot more people will be doing it too as well. So because it will be a lot more easier. It'll then come down to I guess a lot of other things when people are buying from you, things like, and it's always been this way too as well, things like reliability, after post-sale service, your refund policies, your delivery policies, all those sorts of things, your terms and conditions. It'll come down to all that and how effective you implement all those different things, right? Which is something that you still need to do now. Okay, there's not something that you can stop doing, because really on a e-commerce level, things like that pretty much at the moment is managed manually by a human. Will AI take over that? I don't think so, because I think that some people, with the more AI that we have out there, the more people long for that intimacy of being able to sort of speak to a human or deal with a human, especially when it comes to solving delivery issues or refund issues and things like that. So those are the sorts of things that will actually give you more brownie points, if you like, and still keep you in the game and get people using you, because good news travels fast, but bad news travels even faster. Let's carry on.
3. Mobile commerce, M-commerce. With the increasing use of smartphones and tablets, mobile commerce, or M-commerce, has become a dominant force in the e-commerce industry. Consumers are now shopping on their mobile devices more than ever before, making it crucial for businesses to optimize their websites and apps for mobile use. A seamless mobile shopping experience is essential for capturing the growing segment of mobile shoppers. Responsive design, fast loading times, and easy navigation are key components of a successful mobile e-commerce platform. Additionally, integrating mobile payment options like Apple Pay, Google Wallet, and other digital wallets can streamline the checkout process, making it quicker and more convenient for customers to complete their purchases. Businesses are also leveraging push notifications to alert customers about special offers, discounts, and new arrivals, driving engagement and sales. Another trend.
So let's just talk about. Sorry, I didn't actually put my my full screen on before when I was talking to you guys, but let's just talk about what they've just sort of talked about in terms of e-commerce, m-commerce, if you like, which is the mobile thing. Now we all know that's where it's heading, and if it hasn't headed there already, more and more people are using their mobile devices more often than their mobile phone than any other sort of mobile device. And much of the time is that when they're on the mobile device, and you could probably look at the psychology of this, when people on a mobile device, they're actually actively looking. They're not kind of just researching, they're actively looking because, they're on the go. They're you know, thoughts come in their head. Oh, yes, I need to get that, like say that wedding dress, or I've got to get those, those ornaments or whatever for whatever occasion, those sorts of things. And so they're on the go, and they're doing it as they're going about their own daily activities, and that's kind of like e-commerce because it's servicing those people that are actually ready to buy, but they're looking around to see, could be for the best deal. No, sometimes it's not actually just about being cheaper. It's about being able to deliver on time too, as well. So you got to take advantage of that. That's another thing. You could literally put your own price on it, and people won't mind so long as they know they're going to get it maybe the next day. This is where Amazon actually really nails it because their service can often be same day service. I've heard people get their delivery within an hour or 2 hours, or definitely within the 3 day period. And that's how Amazon. Why everybody goes to Amazon. Kind of regardless of what the price is when they're buying from people on Amazon. It's because they can get it quickly, and that's another thing that you got to think of. All these different things you got to think of when you actually run in an e-commerce store, right? There's a whole multitude of things, and that's something that traditionally that we've done before, we still do now, and we're still going to have to do in the future because that's going to set you aside from all the others that are coming to the game because it's been made a lot more easier with AI, but they lack the the experience of having been going through a e-commerce store, having an e-commerce store over maybe a period of 5, maybe 6 years, 10 years, whatever it is. But it's that experience that they've learnt over time and how they've been able to manage their customer service, and when it comes to customer complaints and all that sort of thing, and they deal with it in an effective way. So those things are still going to be things that will actually still things that we will still use, right? Okay, let me just go back.
Trend in m-commerce is the rise of mobile-first social commerce. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok have integrated shopping features, allowing users to purchase products directly through the app. This blend of social media and e-commerce creates a seamless shopping experience and taps into the influence of social media on consumer behavior. 4. Voice commerce. Voice commerce is gaining traction as voice-activated devices like Amazon Echo and Google Home become more prevalent in households. Voice assistants are not only used for setting reminders and playing music, but also for shopping. Consumers can use voice commands to search for products, add items to their shopping cart, and even complete purchases. This hands-free shopping experience is particularly appealing for quick and convenient purchases, such as ordering groceries or replenishing household items. Businesses are optimizing their e-commerce platforms for voice search by using natural language processing, NLP, and ensuring that their product information is voice search friendly.
Okay, let's just talk about that for a sec. So voice search is something that a lot of people are starting to use now, especially now with, say, for instance, if we use ChatGPT as an example, if you have the ChatGPT paid version, you can have access to the ChatGPT mobile where you can talk to your phone and you can ask it questions and you can do this and do that. So you can see that happening. That's going to happen a lot in the future if it's not happening already. But I mean, things like this will take a little bit of time to sort of evolve around the world. But that's what's going to happen. The more easier something becomes for people to use, the more they will do it. All right, and that's just plain and simple because we all live busy lives supposedly. And I remember there was a time when we weren't as busy or as we are now, just as human beings. There was a time when life was a lot more, bit more laid back, especially as a child. You go do all these other things like hunting and fishing and ride your bikes around with your mates and stuff like that. But as a lot of that sort of thing doesn't get done now. I mean, more kids play more on video games these days, which is another e-commerce platform, believe it or not. Playing video games can also be an e-commerce platform. And I think a lot of, if not all of you in here would probably know that. So let's just carry on.
This involves using conversational keywords and phrases that match how people speak rather than how they type. Voice commerce also includes personalized recommendations based on previous voice interactions, making it a valuable tool for customer retention and upselling. As voice technology continues to improve, we can expect voice commerce to become a more integral part of the e-commerce landscape. 5.
All right, so just on the more on the voice e-commerce. So at the moment, and it has been in for a while, is there has been like what they call voice search as part of your SEO if you're a business, right? And so what actually happens is that when you searching for something in Google, and as we all know, Google has that microphone where you can click on it and you can actually speak your search terms, if you like. So that's like that's kind of like voice search, right? And that will often sort of like bring up the most, or the best, I guess, the best sort of like business that Google has, can serve up in terms of what the client's looking for. So voice commerce is kind of the same as voice search, only it's just taken it that step further. Let's carry on.
Sustainable e-commerce practices. Sustainability is becoming a significant consideration for consumers, and e-commerce businesses are taking note. There is a growing demand for eco-friendly products and sustainable business practices, from packaging to shipping. E-commerce companies are responding by adopting greener practices, such as using recyclable materials, offering carbon-neutral shipping options, and supporting ethical sourcing. Sustainable e-commerce practices not only appeal to environmentally conscious consumers, but also enhance a brand's reputation. Many businesses are transparent about their sustainability efforts, showcasing their commitment to reducing their carbon footprint. This can be a deciding factor for customers when choosing between brands.
All right, so just on that, okay, so to cover that, and I think everybody understands this, eco-friendly products is really a trend at the moment, and that's actually sort of overlapped into like how eco-friendly even delivering the product is, and what sort of packaging it's in, all that sort of stuff. So it's becoming more and more important, and it's becoming a selling point as a seller if you're actually implementing a lot of those different types of, I guess, what would you call it? Not strategies, but those kind of eco-friendly type sort of policies when it comes to selling your stuff. So I know people in here in this in the chat right now have heard of Printify and Printful, and there is actually an option for like eco-friendly material when it comes to t-shirts and garments, anything like that. So there's that too as well. On a smaller scale, if you're selling those sort of items, you're doing your part on a smaller scale. But to go as far as what what they're actually suggesting what will happen, which I think will, it won't entirely take over, but what it will do is it will make, it will be an edge for sellers in terms of getting into something like that. Probably currently would be quite expensive, but as time goes by and it becomes more and more common, then it won't be as expensive. But it's actually a good thing to implement right now, even if it's going to be more expensive. You're not going to get everybody buying because of the cost, but you will get the ones that are eco-friendly conscious, right? And that's how it happens. 83, which is Karen. Anyway, optimize for voice command, another SEO opportunity. Absolutely. So voice command is actually a huge opportunity. And as I said before, we've used it for like SEO optimization. not just for geographical search, but also for voice search as well when it comes to Google. The other one, Nancy, eco-friendly versus more VR or AR rare metal use. Seems like a paradox. Yeah, absolutely, Nancy. So, like I think, yeah, what we're watching now is if it's not implemented yet, it will be implemented very, very soon, because that's where it's taking us with AI. You look how fast AI has evolved in the last not even 2 years since it's kind of been a thing, right? That people sort of started knowing about AI and ChatGPT. It hasn't even been like 2 years. It's getting close, but it hasn't even been 2 years. And look how far it's come. And that's just, so it's sped up a lot now with the speed of how AI has progressed. It's going to speed up all these other things as well, such as eco-friendly products and delivery and all that sort of thing.
Moreover, digital solutions are helping e-commerce companies minimize waste and optimize supply chains. For example, AI can predict demand more accurately, reducing overproduction and excess inventory. Additionally, blockchain technology is being used to increase transparency and traceability in the supply chain, ensuring that products are sourced and produced ethically. In conclusion, the e-commerce landscape is rapidly evolving, driven by technological advancements and changing consumer preferences. Staying ahead of these trends can provide businesses with a competitive edge and enhance the shopping experience for customers. Whether it's through AI-powered personalization, immersive AR experiences, or sustainable practices, the future of e-commerce looks promising. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, so let's just do a bit of a recap of what we've just watched. So, at the end of the day, AR and VR are going to be a thing, right? It's a thing now, but it's going to be more common. Obviously, the voice commerce is going to be huge, or mobile commerce, I should say, is going to be huge, because everybody is using their mobile devices now more often than not, more often than before. So you really have to make sure that your websites or your websites are actually optimized or responsive for mobile devices, because as I've mentioned in the past, people will just turn off if your website on a mobile device is actually all over the place. And so it's really important that happens. And there's a lot of other things as well that you got to make sure that it's that it's actually SEO friendly as well. And then coming into the whole sort of voice search as well, that's another thing. I mean, I use ChatGPT with the in terms of speaking to ChatGPT a lot when I'm just looking for stuff, and it's surprising just how well it picks up what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like, back in the past, we struggled. You had to struggle to try and train your computer to actually understand what you're saying, right? So more often than not, you had to go through a kind of like a training period with your computer, so that it will get used to the words, how you pronounce the words, how you say it, and all that sort of thing. But now ChatGPT just picks up on what you're trying to say. It's kind of like when you make spelling errors and you just leave them, because ChatGPT understands what you're trying to say. Right? It understands what you're trying to type. That's the same thing. So they've made AI in a lot of ways forgiving, and also what's the other word? It improvises, and it anticipates what you really meant and how you meant to say it. And that is going to be the biggest thing when it comes to e-commerce, because it makes life easier for people. And like I said before, people are always on the go. We're busy. We have more busier lives now than what we ever had in our whole lifetime. We're much more busier now, irrespective of what you think we are more busier now than we've ever have been. And it just seems like that we're constantly just busy, you know. And I know there's a few people in here that are actually busy all the time, literally, busy with doing a lot of different things. And this is where the whole e-commerce side of things, when you start getting into that sort of, I guess, that area where you're making life a lot more easier, saving people time, is good for them. You know, they love that. So money is not really is a concern. Really, people want to actually gain more time. They don't want to lose time. They want to gain more time, right? So if you can make their life easier, right? So that's one aspect, right? The other thing is the whole eco-friendly thing. So if you can save time and you can actually reach out to the people who are eco-friendly motivated, and there's a lot of those people now. Then again, you're winning, and price doesn't become an issue. You've got to get past this point that if you can't compete with other sellers on price, then look for other ways that you can compete on, right? That you can actually get an edge on, because price is not always that important, that you have to be cheaper than the next person, because more often than not, that would actually probably be more damaging to your brand rather than helping your brand sort of like be more popular, if you like. If you have a look at things like Wish.com, AliExpress, people still buy from them because there's some cheaper options on there. But there are a lot of people that won't buy from them because they don't like they don't like the delivery timeframes. Two, you don't know whether or not you're going to get a quality product or not. You don't know if it's going to break when you get it. You're going to have issues with it, and then because it's so cheap, you don't actually bother about actually sending it back to get a refund, things like that, and can put people off. So there are ways now that you can actually get some edge and still make some good money, good profit on items, and that's what you got to look at. And it all comes down to how you manage your business, how effective your customer services, which is really, really key. If you have a look at Amazon, that's exactly what they've done. In fact, when I was an Amazon seller, one of the things was that you got more credibility if you're an FBA fulfilled by Amazon member than what you were if you were an FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant. So fulfilled by merchant, taking care of your own deliveries from your own warehouse, whatever. But you had certain rules that you had to abide by when it came to Amazon. You had to make sure that your delivery times were met on time, because if you didn't, as a seller, you would probably get a warning, right? And if you did that too many times, and if you got too many sort of bad reviews and complaints, because they'll see it all, it's all on your platform, it's all on your store, they'll see it all, then again, they'll contact you and say, hey, you need to sort this out, otherwise we're going to shut your store down. And so that happens. So that's why they prefer you to be an FBA, because they can control the delivery, they can control the complaints and all that sort of thing, and they keep their reputation intact. If you're an FBM, you could actually cause damage to their reputation, so they don't want that. All right, so that's how that all works, and you get a lot of different preferences when you're an FBA. Yes, you do have to pay more fees, but at the end of the day, there are sellers out there that are actually, even with the fees, they're still making a lot of money. But it's very difficult to get to that point. That's a challenge. That's a real challenge, especially if you're just a small business. But with the whole AI stuff and everything else, that could also change that whole sort of ball game when it comes to deliveries on time. At the end of the day, there's a lot of things that AI can actually probably fix. But like I said before, credibility comes down to you as a store, and if you've got that credibility, you've got that reputation. People are going to talk about you. People are going to come and buy from you, no matter how much your price is, within reason, right? You don't want to sort of charge absurdly high prices, but you want to charge what's reasonable, what you know that people will know is reasonable, and what is good quality, and obviously, meeting deadlines as well in terms of deliveries and stuff like that. Right. So it actually pays to do a bit of a checklist too as well, to actually figure out, or to write down what you think as a customer, and come from a customer's perspective. As a customer, what do you want when what sort of service, what sort of products, what sort of timeframes do you expect as a customer from your store, right? You know, what is it? What are your expectations as from a customer point of view, rather than a seller point of view, that you would actually expect from an online store? And that's kind of, write it down and use them as check boxes. So later on, when you're actually sort of like forging out your store, you can actually make sure those things have been checked off and that you're actually taking care of business that way. All right, so we've got 83 is multitasking now. Yeah, exactly. I know what you're talking about. Nancy, yes, AI anticipated our thoughts. It's kind of been doing that, like the whole sort of like Facebook thing has been doing that for a while now. Right? Google's been doing that for a while. It's been collecting, and we all know it's been on the news and stuff like that. It's been collecting data on you, right? And one of the things is that when 5G was coming out, or wasn't out, but was still coming out in terms of mobile 5G, what it was anticipating is that when you go into, let's just say, if you're subscribed to let's just call it like Costco, if you've subscribed to Costco to get notifications of, different specials, different deals and stuff like that. And what can happen now these days is that you because everybody has their phone on their person, they, literally don't go anywhere without your phone. And you kind of go into maybe a shopping mall that has Costco's there, or if you go into a Costco store, what's happening now is that you're going to get notifications on your phone because you've come into the vicinity of Costco's, because they can actually see literally on Google Maps or wherever your location, they can see where you are, and then it's going to send you notifications. Hey, did you see have you actually seen our latest special down aisle, blah, 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 aisle 51, or, and these are on special today, buy one now. You're right there, you're in the store, and it's sending you notifications of their special. That's what they were anticipating when it came to 5G. The other thing was over, I think, in places like China, and that they were anticipating that with the 5G coming in, that you could actually walk into a mall, and they will have like video billboards along the way as you're walking through maybe a corridor of the mall or whatever, or past shops, and there's video billboards. And basically because it connects with the whole sort of like knowledge of you, because of some of the stuff that you've been doing online, and the searching that you've been doing on Google for different things, it's connected you with that virtual billboard, and it's showing up things just like how you would go to a website, right? And it will show up like things that you've actually looked at prior on a different site, and it kind of pops up on your Facebook page or whatever, and you're kind of seeing all these adverts, and like that was something I was looking for before a few days ago. And I think we all know that, a lot of that has actually become, they've got data on you, right? And this is the kind of thing that they were talking about, virtual billboards. As you're walking past, it knows what you've actually sort of like looked for online, and it's kind of showing up things on the virtual billboard that you may be interested in, because it knows that you're in that location. So it's an amazing thing what's going to happen when it comes like with AI. That was happening like a few years ago. Now we've got AI. It's probably going to happen even more, probably even taking it to another level. So it's a big thing to get into e-commerce. It's going to be quite demanding on how we put things into effect as a seller, as a store. But it's also going to actually help, people sort of like help sellers get away from that whole sort of like being cheaper than somewhere else to being more conscious, environmentally conscious, more customer focused, more, just making sure that, products are delivered on time, all those sorts of things. So after today's video and probably some of the comments that I made, what do you think? Where do you think that you can actually create or capitalize on in your current situation when it comes to e-commerce? How could you make your e-commerce business better than it ever has been? I remember when I was doing my stores back in the earlier days, one of the things was, particularly back then, I always focused on customer service, right? Getting back to customers when they actually, when they emailed me or they messaged me, getting back to them, not just within 24 hours, but pretty much within sort of 12 hours or 6 hours, as soon as I could get to them. And really, at the end of the day, is that some of my customers were overseas, so the time difference was quite big. But I always made it a point to actually sort of to get back to them, and they really loved that, because it meant that I deemed them as an important customer. So those things are never going to die. Nothing's going to sort of take over that, not even AI, because that whole human touch, and if you do it well, it's going to be more effective in this whole world of AI. Okay, guys, that's me. Hopefully that was all helpful. Gives you a bit of insight as to what's coming, and what you can do to actually better your chances and increase your sales, if you like, when it comes to e-commerce. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys. Oh, by the way, we're probably not going to do the session next week because there will be a 5-day challenge. I'll be doing the group card 5-day challenge next week. So look out for the notification about that. So that will be starting next week. Okay, so we won't be doing this regular session next Thursday because we'll be doing the 5-day challenge anyway on e-commerce. All right, take care, and we will see you next week at the challenge. And enjoy the rest of your week. Bye for now.
You gotta get into the groove.